All right, guys, welcome. Today is day one live Q&A, mindset and fundamentals. I'm super excited to have some special guests with us. We have Cameron Walker. He's an eight-figure seller based in China. Good morning, Cameron. How are you, sir?
Morning, bright and early. I'm good to go.
Excellent, excellent. Also, we have Jason Tay. He's a seven-figure seller, gave an awesome session about seven-figure product selection, joining us from Australia. Good morning, Jason. How's it going?
Good morning. It's bright and early. Well, not
Yes,
bright.
yes.
It's still dark.
Yeah, okay, before the sunrise. Also, we have John Tilley. He's the co-founder of John Guru. He gave an awesome session about using data to find the right product in the right marketplace today. How's it going, John?
Hey, what's up? Good to be here and looking forward to the session. I hope we're going to get a bunch of questions. It seems like you've got an awesome panel here for all of the questions around product research. So it'll be great.
Yes, awesome, man. He's coming at us from his garage as well. That is a real background, guys. It's not a Zoom background.
Yeah.
And also, last but not least, we have Mark Jolly from India sourcing that she and her co-founder partner Megla gave an awesome session today about India sourcing, the 10 insider tips you gotta know. Welcome, Mark. How's it going?
Oh, thank you very much, Gary. I'm well. Yes, I'm up and about. I've had my walk, so it's daylight for me here, so it's quite good.
Excellent. Excellent. All right, guys. So if you can see and hear us, because this is live, can you please type your name and where you're joining us from in the chat so we know who we're with? All right. So today is going to be super valuable. Here's your chance to ask your questions live. All right. So, I mean, we have these very experienced 7 and 8 figure sellers. We have experts about product selection, keyword research, and also sourcing from India, sourcing from China. I mean, Cameron's on the ground in China right now. I mean, nobody can get there if you're outside of China. I can't even go back to China now. So, I'm really curious, what he's seeing as well. So this is a super valuable opportunity. And, I always say sharing is caring. So if you know anybody else that's selling online on Amazon, I mean, this is a golden opportunity. Think about if you were able to sit down, have coffee with one of these experts today, how valuable that would be to your business. All right. So I'll give you guys a second to do that. And meanwhile, quickly, I'd like to welcome Gary from New York City in the house and martini in hand. There you go. I hope that will help facilitate the Q&A. We have Al from the UK. We have Andy from Detroit. And this session will be recorded, but please drop your questions live in the chat to get them answered live. All right. So before we begin, guys, I know that today is day one. I mean, we covered a lot of stuff. Maybe we can quickly go over the calendar today, just to make sure everyone knows what we talked about today. So before we do that, if you guys were able to watch the sessions today, I'm curious, what was the number one takeaway so far from the summit? Both audience, like if you were able to watch, what was the number one takeaway? And if any of our speakers, if you were able to watch any of the sessions, if you had a number one takeaway as well, I would love to hear it. So I'll give you guys a second to do that. Meanwhile, I'd like to just quickly go around the room and introduce our speakers. And then also I will share my screen so we can see exactly what they spoke about today. All right. So let's start with Cameron. Cameron kicked things off today. The 2021 lessons learned from an 8-figure seller. Can you guys see my screen okay? Thumbs up if you can.
Yep.
Awesome. Okay, Cameron. Yeah, maybe if you can you introduce yourself very quickly for people that haven't seen you yet? And if you can give us a quick overview about what you talked about today.
Yeah, sure. So I run an online toy business, toys and games, arts and crafts, with myself and also some family business partners based kind of around the world now. We're pretty scattered. I'm in China, in Shenzhen. I've been in China for it's coming up to 20 years now. So actually it's been a long time, mostly in corporate, but for the last couple of years doing this online business. We run warehouse operations here. We do quite a bit of assembly operations. So my kind of knowledge of e-commerce and Amazon is, what do they call it? Mile wide, couple inches deep. I know a lot about, or a little bit about, a lot of different things. Not necessarily like a super expert in any one area, but there's not very many areas that I don't know anything about.
Awesome. Thanks for that, Cameron. So if you guys have any questions about all of the logistics challenges that everyone's going through, the high freight shipping rates, operating 3PLs, Amazon inventory, feel free to drop that in the chat. I mean, Cameron has a wealth of knowledge when it comes to that. I think he's being a little modest because, I mean, this guy's like experience runs deep, and I know Cameron, so he's awesome. All right, so thank you, Cameron. Quick shout out and comment from Gary in New York. He said his top takeaway today was Amazon Australia and selling on Walmart. Hotbeds of growth potential is what I got out of today's sessions. Thank you, Gary. And that's a nice transition to John. John gave an awesome session about, why don't you speak a little bit, John, about that, and maybe talk about Amazon Australia, why it's an opportunity for a lot of sellers.
Yeah, good to see Gary on there. I think he was on yesterday at the start of the show as well. So, important to see guys like Gary jumping in and consuming all this content. I think that was, it was a good session. I think to kind of really dive in on how to use data to find obviously products to sell across the various different marketplaces, and importantly that you can look at data for various marketplaces in a different way. Talking about Amazon.com being more of a micro niche because of the seasonedness of the marketplace and kind of the size of it versus some of the emerging markets like Australia, and what an awesome opportunity it is right now if you can get in early on Amazon Australia, and then your exponential growth over the next couple of years is going to be a lot bigger than if you join in 6 months time or a year or whatever. So it's really a huge opportunity not to miss right now in terms of getting in early. Just looking at the history of Amazon and what they've done in marketplaces that they've got a foothold in is just phenomenal. And they've certainly got a foothold in Australia. They're backing it, and most importantly, Prime is working there. The end customer is integrating that into their daily shopping habits, and if you can get in right now, Amazon is supporting you and backing you as an FBA. So some of those bigger macro niche opportunities that I kind of covered, I think I covered like things like gaming chairs, furniture, pet products, camping products. Those are still wide open right now. Whereas I think if you're just starting out in the US, some of those categories are already established and take a lot more capital up front. So there's opportunities everywhere, and Amazon is not slowing down. So Amazon Australia, Amazon India, even as an opportunity, it's a slightly different fit right now, but those are certainly markets that are going to grow over the next while. So I enjoyed that session, and I'm more excited about these new emerging markets and Amazon in general than I have been in quite a while. So it's very exciting.
Awesome.
Can I actually ask John a quick question?
Absolutely,
Yeah.
Cameron. Yeah.
So in Australia, are they globally sharing all the reviews? I haven't looked at it in a while, to be honest.
So it's typical of Amazon, right? In the sense that when they launch something, it's almost like it's kind of like a little bit of a mess in the beginning, and they're MVPing and they're trying to pull data from different places, and they're testing different methodologies. And in the beginning, they were globally pulling reviews over, but they're actually changing that now, and it actually becoming more as they establish more of the FBA sellers there. That's not being shared as much. So at a high level, I'm not sure how that's going to pan out, but in some cases they're sharing it, in some cases they're not, and I think they're still trying to figure that out. So there's a little bit of that kind of like pioneering kind of things that they're working through at the moment on their side.
Sounds
I
like
can
it's the
jump
same
but one
as,
thing,
yeah, it sounds like it's the same as Europe then, and because that's the same
Yeah.
thing that's happening in Europe with the globally shared reviews, where they go all in and then they pull back when they start to see abuse. Like they're seeing two different ASINs in two different markets that are totally different products. But now recently they've kind of seemed to kind of go back towards sharing. So, I mean, it's a huge difference in, like, if you go into gaming chairs in Australia and they don't share and they never share, then you're kind of you're right. You're in blue ocean territory. But if one day they start sharing all the reviews, and then it changes the game, but they never quite tell you what they're going to do.
Yeah, it does. And one other thing there is what we're seeing is that a lot of the times is this kind of retail arbitrage happening, right? Where they're live on Amazon Australia, but they don't actually have product there. It's being shipped in from overseas, or Amazon's actually pulling it from their different marketplaces. But what if you find the FBA sellers in the various markets, like no matter what you're setting as an FBA, you are on page one, and they're kind of backing you. So there's blue ocean around being an FBA seller in that marketplace right now, and certainly establishing kind of your foothold there as an FBA seller is a massive opportunity.
Yep. I do shop on Amazon Australia. So what a consumer sees is actually all the reviews. But then when they scroll down, Amazon actually shows the local Australian reviews up top. And then you have to click like other reviews to see like the international ones.
Right. So that's the same as the other marketplaces, basically.
Yep.
Excellent. Great question. So I see the questions are rolling in. So let's quickly address the questions. So we have Al, who said, I'm wanting to get started. How do I find suited products, as Amazon is a top seller in most categories? And he also had a follow-up question. How many product types should I list as a starting point to gain a good opportunity of being seen and getting ranked amongst the current sellers? Also, should they be different categories or not? What do you guys think? Jason, do you want to weigh in on this? You gave an awesome talk about product selection.
Sure. Hi, Al. I think if you're just getting started or about to get started, you probably want to get your hands or your feet wet with one product, just so you work through the whole process and understand what's going on and all the moving parts. The other thing is, depending on which market, I think John mentioned this earlier, if you're going to be starting, let's say in the US, you probably want to start with a really micro niche, especially if you're starting out. Whereas if you're going into one of the more virgin territories like Australia, then you could go for something that has broader appeal or more mainstream. Yep. So it depends. But for somebody really starting out, I would say go for low-hanging fruit, something that has really low competition. So you get an easy win under your belt as you work your way through the process before you burn like a ton of cash on something that's gonna like not work. Yep.
Yeah, and that's great advice, Jason. And I highly encourage you, Al, if you haven't already, to check out Jason's session. He really dove deep into ways to do this and really like trying to de-risk the process. So, any other thoughts on this, like Mark or John, if you guys wanted to weigh in to help out?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely agree with Jason on that, and I think it's not about understanding the top categories and thinking about how many variations you need to launch in order to compete. It's really about picking a very specific target audience, understanding what they need, and then matching that with a product idea that you can differentiate on and really meet those needs, and do the differentiation in a better commercial way, but not obviously eating into your cogs too much, so that you don't have profit left over and you can compete at the right price, and doing it better than the competitors. So that I think is the area to really focus on, and if you can get that right, your conversion rate is going to be high, and you're going to do well with your product no matter what. It's not necessarily about the various variations and kind of trying to create that moat or competing in that way as a start against your competitors.
Excellent. And John, can you tell us more about how tools like ZonGuru can help, someone like Al, as he's doing his product research?
Yeah, ZonGuru is at a high level is a business intelligence tool that really focuses on exactly answering key business questions at each phase of your Amazon business with data, right? So that's what we focus on. But I think what's really important, and we've done this from day one, is there's so many data points that you can provide, and what's really important is to ensure that we get the right data points, but we visualize that answer to those business questions in the right way, so that you can really take that information, be confident in your decisions, and move forward with your business. And that's ultimately what we do across each area. Specific to product research, the way that we tackle that is with a concept called the niche radar, where we answer. There's really like 5 key questions that you need answered when you're defining a good product niche to go into, and one is obviously demand. That's really important. Like, how much demand is there? Is there enough but not too much? The competition opportunity, is there competition enough but not too much, right? So that's really important. And then it's all around profitability. So what is the actual potential to make profit and enough sales volume, so this is a really good business to go into, because it's ultimately going to be what's left over that's going to drive your business and allow you to kind of fuel that and reinvest in it. So we have a kind of an area around profitability, and then the final one is around real capital. Like, how much capital do I need to buy enough product to be able to compete at the volume of the average of page 1, so that I can really understand from an investment perspective how much money I need to put forward. So those 4 key questions we answer in our niche radar, and then importantly, there's the 5th question, which is differentiation, and I talked a little bit about that. And that's you can't really answer that with data at a high level. You can do research around that, but that's a skill set that you have to really hone and get right, because you can look at those 4 key points and it can look really good, but if you truly don't understand or have ideas on how you could potentially differentiate in a commercial way from the competitors, you might not be successful. So we kind of teach across the gamut on that, but that's what data does. It kind of peels back those layers, but then formalizes it in a visual way, so you can use that to really understand that this is a good first step and something worth investigating further around a product idea.
Excellent. Thanks for sharing about that, John. And I'd like to give a quick shout out to ZonGuru. Thank you for sponsoring 7-Figure Seller Summit. I highly recommend that you guys check out their tools and their entire package. They prepared a special offer for you guys that you can find in the chat, zonguru.link/7FSS. All right. We're getting a lot of questions, so I want to move a little faster, if that's cool with you guys. Al says, will do, and thank you. Great question, Al. Let's keep this coming. We also have a question from EZ. I would imagine shipping rates would also be less from China to Australia, just based on distance. Agreed?
Yeah, yes and no. It depends on product and what you're doing. I know it is quite hard at this point to necessarily get stuff into Australia. I think there's a lot going on there. I'm not an expert in that, but it's something, again, at a high level, you just have to figure out your cards, right? And everything from size to product have to go into that. So definitely research that.
Okay. I know a similar topic that we talked about, shipping, right? Going to India, Mark, for sellers that are considering sourcing from India, shipping from India to the US, for example, how are the shipping rates looking from your side?
Much better than China. And look, at the moment, I haven't got the update. There was probably a price increase yesterday again, but the last report I had was the 1st of August, and a container from Nhava Sheva, which is the main port in India, into New York, which is where you would go, not California, if you're shipping from India, was about $9,000. So for a 40-foot. So it's a lot of difference. So I think that the shipping rates really are a lot more attractive if you're going from India at the moment. So it's a good reason to come over to start sourcing from India.
Yeah, definitely. Mark and Meghala gave an awesome session about 10 insider tips sourcing from India. I think that's one of the ways you can kind of diversify your sourcing and also get lower shipping rates, right? We had a similar question. I'm going to jump down the chat to Luca. What's up, Luca? Good to see you here. Can you share some strategy about high logistics shipping costs? Should we be increasing our selling price? This is like one of the biggest challenges right now, guys, with the whole formed cost. The cost of over $20,000.
Hey Gary, we're losing your sound a little bit. I'm not sure if it's your speaker, but it's yeah.
Okay, can you guys? Sorry, this is live. We're experiencing some technical difficulties. Can you guys hear me? Okay.
Yeah, that's better.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So, what do you guys? What advice would you give Luca and Easy? People that are experiencing these high shipping rates.
Well, I would say that everyone's on the same page. Granted, there's some people who are doing things like Mark said, like sourcing from India, who might have a different cost base. But for the majority of products, people are shipping from the East Coast of China into the West Coast of the US or Canada, and they're on the same page. I think in my talk, I talked a little bit about kind of inflation and how I thought it would take a little while to work its way through the system. I think that there's lots of people, including us, that have product that we brought in before these rates increased. We have some product that we brought in Q1 of this year. So obviously that we have at a lower cost base. There's also a lot of people who, they went into a super competitive niche and they're trying to clear out product. So they're discounting it and, all sorts of that kind of stuff. But once this stuff works its way through the system and everyone's on the same page, I mean, it is what it is. So regardless of whether we have this higher logistics cost or not, we're always testing raising prices. Sometimes it sticks, sometimes it doesn't stick. It tends to stick closer to Christmas. Like we get more aggressive in Q4, and you can get more aggressive in Q4. But I think depending on the product, depending on the market, you should be testing cost increases or price increases for sure. But that happens regardless of what's going on with logistics prices.
Excellent. Any other recommendations, guys?
Yeah, I think the increase in shipping costs just illustrates the point that when you do your product selection, you want to make sure that you have sufficient margins to be able to buffer for these kinds of unforeseen circumstances. So, yep, that's really important.
Yeah,
pressure gets managed. Yeah.
Yeah, I've noticed a lot in one of my niches that a lot of, and they're obviously Chinese sellers by looking at the products, that they've all reduced their prices. So I'd say they've either got a lot of product they're trying to get rid of, or I can't quite work it out, because I'm talking like $49 down to $28 in some instances, which to me, with shipping logistics going up, I don't know what they're up to. So I'm just watching and hoping that they have to put them up or they run out of stock or something shortly. It's quite interesting, because a lot of the niches are very similar, but for some reason this one, they're just, I don't know, it's like a price war. But I'm just sitting back going, go for it, lose money, because they can't be making any. I've looked at their cost of goods.
Yeah, our niche is very interesting as well. So we're in toys and arts and crafts. We have two major kind of competitor types. One is big brand retail, like Melissa and Doug and some of these other companies that sell in Walmart, sell in Target. They tend to have retail packaging, and they tend to sell 1P on Amazon. And for any parents that have bought products in the arts and crafts niche, that like in the box is like 85%, like no joke, 85% empty, 15% full of product. Like even the suppliers laugh and joke that these companies, these brands ship air. And last year, it didn't matter. now I'm really curious to see what happens to these 1P brands who are shipping in our niche, who ship like 85% brand, or 85% air. So their product looks good on the Walmart shelves, but they're selling on Amazon. I think a lot of brands are going to have kind of a reckoning when it comes to their retail packaging, selling 1P. So the tip would be, make sure that your packaging is as small as possible.
That's a great tip. And
I think, sorry,
John,
just one more point there, but it's also important as a seller that you have the discipline to kind of understand all of the market nuances, but not necessarily get distracted from your long-term vision of what you're trying to create, right? Because prices are going to go up and down, competition is going to come. You need to be close to what's going on and understand it, but not necessarily have a knee-jerk reaction. If the goal is over time, you might lose a little bit of profit, but as long as you're sticking to your goals of what you're trying to create as a long-term play, it's going to get there if you keep focusing on your products. So be aware, but don't necessarily have knee-jerk reactions based on some of these market dynamics that happen.
Excellent. And I'd like to welcome our friend Chris Davey from Shenzhen. Good morning, sir.
Hi, how you doing?
Good. I'm glad that you were able to join us. Chris Davey also is based in China, and his session was all about how to overcome the high shipping rates, the rising costs, and Amazon inventory restrictions. I'm just going to throw you right in the fire, Chris. What are your recommendations about dealing with the whole high logistics costs and to help sellers like Luca?
It really depends on your products. I just heard about Cameron just saying about repacking stuff. We've already gone through that exercise as well. But on some things that's caused us a little bit of a problem because we've packed so many things into a box now, and then we've got ridiculously low storage limits at Amazon that it became we have to start unpacking all the master cartons that are 3PL to send stuff in smaller boxes because we can't send that box of 100 in anymore because 100 equals 50 days stock or something like that on some products. But I mean it's a challenging market. There's a lot you can do and there's a lot you can't do. You just got to be on top of it. I saw the question here, should we be increasing our selling prices? We've increased some of our selling prices, and so far it hasn't affected our sales at all, to be honest. So we've increased some of our products 10-15% because we had to. Well, we didn't have to really. I mean, we were still making what's probably classed as a good margin, but it wasn't the margin that we wanted. But to decide on that, you've got to look at your competitors as well, I think. You've got to understand that if you put your price up, have you got more reviews? What's your position on the page? All this kind of stuff. We're in a strong position on the stuff we put the prices up, where our products are quite unique, or we've got 3,000-4,000 reviews. If you've only got 10 reviews and you're halfway down page 2 and you put your price up, you're probably going to get no sales. So it really depends on that. But
Excellent. All right. Lucas says great information. Thanks, guys. And Al says, I hear a fellow Brit. All right, let's keep going.
Indeed.
We have a lot. Yes. Let's just plow through the questions. We got some really good questions here. Going back to Charlene earlier asked about product liability. Question on liability insurance. Do you need insurance for all niches or just specific ones?
That's an easy one. So Amazon's just changed their terms of service last week or something. So previously it used to be if you sell above, I'm talking about the US marketplace. So if you sell above 10,000 USD a month for 3 months consecutively, then they require you to have insurance. Just 1 or 2 weeks ago, they've changed that. The moment you cross 10,000 in sales in 1 month, I think, they require you to the policy requires you to have insurance. And there's actually now, like what they had with IP Accelerator, they now have like an insurance accelerator thing in Seller Central. I checked it yesterday. There are like 3 providers there, as far as I can see. So yeah, so that's the requirement. If you
What's the
cross a
estimated
certain
cost
revenue.
for that, Jason? Do you know?
It really depends on what you're selling. So, for example, if you were doing, let's say, skincare or toys or ingestible food and beverage, that those or baby products, those are gonna have higher premiums because of the greater liability, higher chance of litigation, versus something that's a lot lower risk, and also depends on your revenue annually. So, yep.
All right, great advice.
And you do need it on every niche, not just not specific. Every single product you have. So you'll actually get asked when you take out your insurance for a list of every product you sell, how many you sell, etc. So the premium is done virtually product by product. And if you add a new product, you need to actually notify them that you've got an extra product. It can't be, this is this year. So because you might add, a beauty product that was very expensive, and you might have had very cheap insurance before, not very cheap. None of it's very cheap, but cheaper insurance. And look, that's another thing that a lot of people, I think, are going to find, as well as this shipping cost, that they're going to have to take out this liability. Because I've been in the back end too, Jason, and it looks to me like you've got to put the number in there, and I'm wondering if the number's not in there, do you go down the, sort of off the system for a little while till you've got your approval number in there or not? They haven't actually said so yet, but it's set up like it could happen.
Yep. So we just sort of roll with the punches. But just to, like what Margaret said, it's not niche specific. It's your business specific. So Amazon essentially wants your business to have commercial general liability insurance that includes Amazon and its associates as one of the additional insured parties. So essentially, your policy needs to cover Amazon as well.
Yes. All right. Great question. Charlie.
Yeah, sorry, just add something in there, and basically what that means is that if you already got insurance, you need more insurance, because it probably won't have that. It won't have Amazon as a main party on it. So, for instance, I was talking to my friend yesterday who sells on Wayfair, and he's got insurance on Wayfair, but that insurance is no good for Amazon. So he needs another insurance policy for Amazon. And one other tip there on that is that currently there's only 2 countries listed on that insurance accelerator, which is the US and China. If your company's based in another country, down on the bottom right hand side somewhere in the frequently asked questions is a link to the insurance broker that Amazon are using to arrange the insurance. And if you click on that link, that will bring up like every single country that company deal with, and they can give you a quote no matter where you are, apparently. So I have some friends that gave me that yesterday.
So Chris, with the country, is that the country that your business is registered in, or is it the country that your product is selling?
Yeah. And so our business is registered in Hong Kong. Now, obviously, Hong Kong is really China, yeah? So my argument to the Chinese insurance companies was, hey, everyone keeps telling me that Hong Kong is China, yeah? So it says China, so you should be able to insure me. And they could, so it was a first.
Interesting. All right. Awesome, guys. Let's keep going. Thank you, Charlene. Great question. So we have a question about PPC. I know we're not talking about PPC till tomorrow, but let's help T. Martin. What daily PPC budget do you recommend to launch a smaller searched item, 10,000 a month? Any advice for T. Martin?
My advice would be listening to Ritu's presentation tomorrow, because she is like the queen of PPC.
100%. Couldn't agree more, T. Martin. All right. So let's keep going. Tanya asks, do you think Amazon FBA is saturated as of 2021?
No.
No, not really.
I mean, it's we we see people launch. Last week, six. And I think if you know how to find the right niche, you can do an amazing job. Not only finding the right niche, but obviously you have to create the right, a good product. And I think you have to be good at all the different phases, whether it's launching, whether it's finding a product, kind of your distribution, etc. I think you just have to be a lot better at all of the various areas. The good thing is that I think there's a lot of great education around to help you. So there's a lot of opportunity out there.
Right.
And also, I think the biggest thing is people need to do their homework first, and not just people come to me and I found this product, and I just look at it and I go, what? You're kidding me. They've obviously not looked at Amazon costs. Say, like somebody wants to sell something that's going to cost them $8 or $10 to land, and they want to sell it for $20, and I go, hang on, your Amazon fees are another $8. You haven't done PPC, you haven't done third-party warehouse, all these things. You're going to lose money. But that happens so much. I think that to me, it's all right going and doing product research, but it's no good researching something if you don't know. And a lot of people have no idea. In fact, somebody approached me the other day and they've got a product live in Amazon, and now they want to pull it out and do FBM because they can't make any money on FBA because there's fees. Well, it's not going to change when they do FBM.
It's probably going to be higher.
Yeah, so and I think that's a big mistake a lot of new people make. They see this advertised as something that you can live on a desert island in 6 months with your martini and the money just rolls into the bank. But I think that's probably, to me, the biggest mistake, and the hardest thing first is working out your costs and knowing all that before you even dive into product research.
Yeah, great point. All right, let's keep going. Thanks, Tanya. Al asked, does Australia have a fulfillment center? I will use either Pakistan or China.
Got how many now? 5, 6?
Yeah, I think the great thing there is, I think it's the one. I'm not sure which one it is, but I know it's the biggest warehouse that Australia has ever had. So just think all the retail giants that have been there over the years, and Amazon comes in. It's been there for a few years, and they're really building a warehouse and an FBA center bigger than anything that's ever been in that country. It's crazy. Yeah.
Excellent. All right. So Mervin says, thank you for all your time and sharing your guru knowledge. Q4 is going to be a bloodbath, higher freight, 3PL, higher PPC, etc. What are your top 3 tips to brace ourselves? What do you guys think? What would be a top tip? Let's just go around the room for Mervin. Let's start with Mark. What would be your top tip?
I think just get on the roller coaster and hold on tight. There's not much. It's too late now to change things. Your costs are you're done. I mean, you've got shipments on the way. It's all happening. We're stuck with 3PLs. Everything has gone up, and I think you've just got to try and hopefully, be in a niche that you can, up your prices slightly and go with the flow. There's not much else we can do at this point in the year.
Excellent. Jason?
Get your stock in quickly by early October. I can't give the actual date because, I have a sort of relationship with Amazon, but there's some things that I have an NDA with. There is going to be a cutoff date for Black Friday and Cyber Monday sales, so you'll want to make sure it's checked in, and Amazon's expecting up to 2-week delays for check-in, or typical 2-week delays.
Great tip. All right, and Chris, top tip for Q4.
Yeah, I mean, my tip's quite interesting. Yeah, so my girlfriend deals with some customers in the US, and they decided that they're giving this year a miss almost, even though they've got more than 70 containers of stock made. After they've done all their calculations, they've asked her to find a warehouse in China, and they're saying, oh, they might not ship this until next year, 2022, because the container costs are so expensive. They've got some products that you only get 300 or 400 in a container. And so the other thing I would say is if you need to ship, you need to be on your game to get containers. Literally, I mean, we've got some of our logistics companies calling us and saying, yeah, we found a container for you and we need an answer in the next 5 minutes, whether you want it or not, or it will be released. So, and that's no joke. Yeah, I mean, we on Friday, my girlfriend called her customer at like 4 o'clock in the morning, US time, yeah, and said, do you want this container or not? Yeah, because like you need to make a decision now. And he's like, oh, yeah. Like what shipping line is it? It's like, there's no time for this. There's no time for research. If you want it, like,
yeah,
you've got to ship it now. Yeah, so you got to be able to make quick decisions. Yeah, so
yep.
And sometimes that might mean you have to ship blind almost. So
pivot quickly, be super agile. That's one of the key things I'm seeing to navigate through this whole logistics challenge. Excellent. And Cameron?
A couple things. I guess we're pre-creating some of our plans for Q4, especially like we have some seasonal products. We're pre-creating some of those shipment plans to go into Amazon now, just so in case our limits go down in the next couple months, we don't get stuck where we can't send anything in. We pretty much know that some of these products, once they get in, they'll start to accelerate very quickly. But the biggest risk is that if you don't have a plan when you start, you'll miss the season and you'll be stuck out for a year. So we're planning now for that seasonal stuff, how to make sure that we at least have room to send in kind of the first quarter of the season's stock. That would be number one. Number two, I guess, is if you've got a 3PL, look for one that has that does LTL trucking into Amazon fulfillment centers and has live unload capacity. They're making the LTL trucking appointment with Amazon and they're sticking your shipment into their truck. That's the quickest way to get your stuff into Amazon, especially when there's delays. We did that last year, kind of accidentally, but when I was looking for a new 3PL this year, that's kind of a very high priority. If you're doing it, if you're sending in at scale, like a fair amount of goods, you don't want to be doing small parcel delivery, UPS, that kind of thing.
Awesome. So you mean look for a 3PL that offers LTL trucking that will help speed things up going into Amazon FBA warehouses. Is that right?
Yeah, and live unload basically means that they're not dropping the trailer. So you won't get stuck in the parking lot of Amazon. The truck will have an appointment time at Amazon and they'll unload the goods. There might still be a delay where they won't check it in immediately, but you won't get into a situation where they just drop the trailer in the parking lot, which is what happens a lot.
Yeah. Excellent. Great advice. All right. And John, what would you advise Mervyn?
Yeah, I think, I think this is the big boys game now, right? Because I think everything's under pressure. And so you're competing in a very kind of tight, finite space with some people who are extremely experienced, like some of the guys, obviously the guys that are big sellers here as well on the panel. So you've got to be on your game, make sure you understand every little piece of information and that you can make quick and concise decisions. I think that's the way just to be able to compete. But I think, beyond that, I think just really thinking about, what are the opportunities? Everyone's under pressure right now. So where are the opportunities? And one opportunity there is because everyone's under pressure, the more you can really foster your relationships, I think that will put you in a good place for the future. So if your distributor or your 3PL or whatever is under pressure, how can you use that as an opportunity to create a better relationship and something that for them they'll note and help you in the future. So I think there's a lot you can do there for the future as well.
That's great advice. And then also we have Sharon Evan, who is another 7-figure seller, she's speaking later at the summit. She's actually joining us. She said she's watching from bed, but she wanted to weigh in as well. So source products that can sell at a higher price, position your products as the top level. Selling less sometimes is actually more. My best advice now. And also re-optimize your products and see if you can make changes to the size. Sometimes making the packaging and a product a little smaller, even 1 to 2 centimeters, can mean fitting in tens to hundreds of more units into a container. Excellent. That's me by Gary, just watching from bed. All right. Thank you, Sharon, for weighing in. I know it's very late for you in Israel. I mean, we do have a global audience. I'm super thankful for that. So much appreciated, Sharon. Let's keep going. We still have a lot of questions to go through, guys. Al says, I have a children's multi-purpose blanket that is not commonly found on Amazon. How can I list this and be seen? I just have one product, 3 designs, and we are priced around 40 pounds. And please note, kids' blankets are pretty cheap on Amazon. Any advice for Al, guys?
Sorry, I was going to ask. What makes it unique. Yeah, I mean, quite often you can sell things that are more expensive, but you need to have like a USP, unique selling point about what's special about it. So like, oh, maybe it's like organic or something like that. It's like what's special about it. Because sometimes people go in selling things for much more expensive, but they don't really state the obvious about why it's more expensive. That's something we've been doing a lot lately. So.
Yeah, excellent. All right, let's keep going. Great question, Al. We hope that helps. Talking about getting initial reviews. What's the best and safe strategy to get initial reviews for new product launches as of 2021? Amazon cracks down lots of review manipulation.
Well, they've just increased the price now for Vine, so that's now I think gone to $200 to join each ASIN in Vine. So that used to be free, and you could get 30 reviews. So I suppose $200 to get 30 reviews, or 20, or whatever you end up getting out of it, is probably still not bad value, and it's safe.
I think it's still free for a little bit, right? What's the deadline for that? So get it in under the wire if you can.
I think it was October.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. All right. Any other advice for safe strategies for reviews?
I mean, we obviously have a review automation tool, which ultimately just helps to automate that process of getting the review request from Amazon out to your customers. I think that there's an algorithm that's always constantly worked on there to see how to get the best response from your customers, and we're seeing amazing results with that. And that's legitimate through Amazon's process. It's just automating the request, and that as a baseline, having that switched on so that you continually requesting the reviews in the right time, I think is a really important step to help you with that baseline over time. But again, I think all of these things point to the fact that if you can just do a really good job with your product and differentiation up front, these problems become less of an issue for you, right? Because there's that conversion or the differentiation is going to help trump reviews at a certain point anyway.
Right. And then Al had a follow-up. What is that Vine? Do you guys want to explain, or should I explain?
Go on, Gary. You can do it, Gary.
Okay, so basically Amazon has their own internal group of pre-vetted Amazon reviewers. So they're actual longtime customers that have a history of writing quality reviews. So they're able to get products for free from Amazon if you want to opt into this program. So as Mark mentioned, you can do this for new products and up to 30 reviews. And as of right now, it's still free. So if you have a new product coming out before October, get on that. It's free, but October price will go up. The benefit of this is it's totally white hat. All right. So it's like Amazon's own system of getting reviews. So you will not get suspended for that. All right.
You do have to be brand registered to use Vine though, right?
Yes,
I
you do.
believe so. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
So,
believe
like
so.
Al,
Yeah.
if you're a new seller, that means, well, Amazon has this brand registry thing where you need a trademark or pending trademark to get brand registered on Amazon, so that you can make use of some features like Divine reviews, and also many of the different PPC ads require brand registry as well,
Yes.
or some
Which
of it.
is probably too, if you are new and don't understand, it's no good getting 50 friends to give you a review on your first 100 sales. Amazon, little algorithm in the background sorts all those things out. So if you start getting too many reviews in your first few sales, you'll be closed down very quickly. So yeah, it's no good trying these tricks thinking that, you know, you can outsmart the system and, you know, you've got this way of getting 50 quick reviews. It won't work for you very long term.
My 3 white hat tips for reviews are: number 1, make sure you sell a good quality product, so you get good reviews, not nasty 1 or 2-star reviews. Number 2, Amazon does have a free review kind of email that goes out to their customers, which any seller can use, which I think John hinted at. It's very manual. You have to click on it one by one if you use Seller Central. But if you use a third-party tool, I guess, like ZonGuru, that can be either automated or you can send those requests in bulk. So that's completely white hat, because that's a message Amazon sends. Thirdly, of course, is Vine, which we've just talked about.
Yes. All right. Great advice, guys. We hope that helps, Tanya. Okay. Easy had a question. Gary, I didn't catch Tim Jordan's session selling on Walmart from today. Is it still available? Yes, it's available for 24 hours. So definitely catch that. If you miss it, we have the All Access Pass upgrade, which unlocks that you have lifetime access to all of the sessions, all of the videos and the audios and the transcripts. And we got some awesome bonuses from our speakers as well. So meanwhile, I'd like to take a moment, if we can, to highlight that, because for those of you guys that are interested, we have the All Access Pass, and so that way you can catch it when they're so you can watch them for lifetime access. All right, so I'll drop the link in the chat if you guys want to check that out. And we also have some awesome bonuses from maybe we can go around the table. Like maybe you guys can share, like what sort of bonuses are you getting from this? So let's start with Chris Davey. I mean, I'm just so amazed that Chris, you're able to offer this one-on-one coaching for our All Access Pass members.
Yeah. Basically, like for 5 people that have signed up for the All Access Pass, I'm willing to give them 30 minutes like mentoring on pretty much whatever subject they want, as long as I know something about it. Don't come asking me how to sell supplements. I don't know anything about that, but pretty much a lot of other stuff. I'm based in China. I know a lot about shipping. I know a lot about buying. I know a lot about Amazon. So anything there related, you can sign up and we can have a call for 30 minutes. And hopefully I'll be more awake than I feel now.
Yeah. But they're only the first 5 people, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Obviously, Chris doesn't have unlimited time. So you guys, if you want to get one-on-one time, I mean, definitely.
The last time I think I was like still doing the calls like 13 weeks after your event. Yeah. So.
Well, we do have a big group of very enthusiastic sellers. So, but obviously Chris has to protect his time. So, I mean, guys, he's only offering 5 spots. So definitely jump on that if you haven't already. All right. Excellent. Okay. All right, let's keep going, guys. I want to get through the questions. Al had another question. Is it better to source products locally than to start off with anyway? UK market related question. Anyone have experience with this to weigh in?
It's an interesting question. I think everyone should try and get quotes on it. I mean, when I was working in big business and we had a factory in the UK and I was running the sourcing team in China, my UK like management put out this strategy, which was we want to buy as much as we can in Europe. And in reality, that was very, very difficult to find anything. Well, it was really difficult to even find the suppliers that could make what we were looking for. And then most of the products we were seeing like 5 to 10 times the price to make like small widgets in Europe or the UK. Yeah, you might be able to, if you went to like Eastern Europe, you might be able to get comparable prices, but then like it was like a lot more tricky to manage. And do we really want to have like one supplier just sitting out there somewhere in Eastern Europe that's like difficult to get to and visit, when all of our other suppliers are kind of like maybe in Guangdong or something like that, maybe 2 or 3 hours away from our office. So in my experience, it's very, very difficult to, one, find a supplier with capability that can make good quality products, and two, get the right prices. But that doesn't mean that it's impossible. We did do it on some stuff.
Excellent. All right, we're running out of time, guys. Yeah, John, you want to quickly weigh in? Yeah,
just one quick point of advice. It kind of builds on, find as entrepreneurs, like you have these kind of ethereal questions that numbers, and just looking at your financials, your decisions become much more focused, and your answers are very much more focused. So make sure you know your numbers, your financials, because that's going to give you the clarity you need. And you just touched on it as well, Chris. So yeah.
Excellent. All right, guys. Thank you everybody for coming on. We're almost out of time. I'd like to highlight, I'd like to first off thank you to all of our speakers today, and quickly highlight what's the best way to connect. And I know that I'd also like to share some of the links that you guys have. So let's start off with Mark.
Okay, right. Well, we have, if people want to get some really good information about sourcing from India, we've got an ebook, which it gives you a really good overview of everything to do with sourcing from India. So if you've got that link there, Gary, or do you want me to give it out? India sourcing.
I just dropped it in the chat. Just 1 second.
There we go.
Okay.
Yeah, so anyone who wants a copy of that, if they go to that site there, they can register for that. And just quickly, we have our very first Sourcing from India workshop commencing this Friday, Saturday, depending where you are. Friday in the US, Saturday in sort of Asia and the UK. And we're offering a special 20% off the cost of the workshop to anyone who registers using our code. I don't know whether you've got that code handy, Barry, or not.
I believe that is for the All Access Pass members. So if you guys want to upgrade, you can get additional 20% off there. So definitely check that out in the All Access Pass members area. All right. So thank you, Mark. Next, Jason, do you want to speak a little bit about your coaching program?
Sure. So I have a website, Jason Tay Online, that sort of chronicles my online journey. And part of that is I started offering training and coaching to people as well since 2018. So for All Access Pass members, they get one extra bonus one-to-one consultation as part of that program. So the program is 3 half days in a small group. I'm only going to take in 12 people from the 6th to the 8th of September. And after the 3 days, then I also do 4 one-to-ones to help them as they execute what they learned. So you can check that out on my website.
Excellent. So that's jasontayonline.com/training. We've dropped that link in the chat. Thank you. And next, Cameron, what is the best way to connect with you?
So I'm on Twitter now. So if anyone talks to Chris and after talking to Chris still has questions, then they can come to me on Twitter. That's my Twitter on the screen, Cameron Walker SZ. Yeah, I mostly tweet about e-commerce, especially kind of what's going on in China, reading the Chinese e-commerce media. So if you're interested in kind of what's going on over here in terms of Amazon e-commerce, follow me on Twitter, send me a message. Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah, you should follow Cameron on Twitter. I get some tips from following Cameron on Twitter. Oh, sorry. I get some tips from following Cameron on Twitter. Like he keeps tweeting at Amazon help. Is it? Yeah. And they're replying back to him on there. Yeah. So.
All right, great. And Chris, best way to connect with you?
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty much on every platform, but like you can drop me an email, chris@fba4u.com. If you go to fba4u.com, you can find all my contact details are on there. But yeah, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, I'm pretty much on all of them. So
Perfect. Chris, www.fba4u.com. And last but not least, John, again, thank you. Best way to connect with you, please.
Yeah, zunguru.link/7FSS. There's a special offer there. You save about $168. I think you get the seller plan for the researcher price if you want to check that out, or just go to our team, check out our blog, our social handles. You're going to find a lot of value there to help you, whether you're starting or kind of scaling. We have a bunch there, so connect with us.
Perfect. Songuru.link/7FSSS. Thank you, guys. This has been awesome, and we hope this is helpful to everybody. Thank you, Mark, Jason, Chris, Cameron, and John for coming in. Really appreciate your time. Tomorrow we're gonna cover marketing, branding, and PPC. We'll be back at the same time. Check your emails. Hopefully, you can join us for the live Q&A. All right. Good luck, guys. Stay safe out there, and we will see you at the next session. Bye, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye.
Cheers.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye-bye.